Welcome back to the podcast. Good to see you again. I'm here with Orion, Michael, and Orion. So I'm here with my Prince of Darkness, and I also have my girlfriend, Lucy Jane, with me. And she'll keep me on track as we go on with this podcast, since I like to be a little forgetful and go off track sometimes when I'm trying to make a point. And I acknowledge that, so I need the help. Thank you. I love you. Okay. So, Aaron Joseph Hernandez, Chico. Like I was saying before, Chico Aaron Hernandez. H is an I. Hi. J-A-I. No, wait a minute. I just made that all up. I mixed it all up. All right, here we go. Aaron, okay, here we go. Chico, C, Aaron, A, Hernandez, H-I, hi. And you mix those I's, C's, and A's around, and what do you get? What do you get? Does anybody notice what you get out of that? Hi. Hi, everybody. And then the J for the Joseph is the hook on the end of a long sea, it's like a deep sea fishing line. And he wasn't meant to be eaten neither, was he? But anyways, neither was he supposed to be manipulated and hard-driven and brainwashed into alleged murders with PCP and fake friends and the BMW and everything else that they hooked him up with to make sure it got done behind his fucking house. It makes no sense. Let me show it to you one more time, because I know, let's be honest, conspiracy theories are real. Remember when JFK got shot and no one knew the truth till like fucking now? Alright, that's how they were going to do with this shit, but look at that. 27 Club, Chico, Aaron, Joseph Hernandez. Chico, yeah, it could be like a China, you know, A-H. You got A-H for Aaron Hernandez, and you got Chico Joseph. Chico Joseph, or Joseph Chico.
Chico.
Joseph Chico, Jesus Christ. A-H. You know, like I was saying before, 4/20/1917, obviously we got some loose screws in the prison he was in. Screws are loose, buddy. So check this out. So we're gonna go into the murders a little bit more, but let's just go into the prison he was in. That's awesome. Not. So I was like, well, let's check out the prison he was in, And they're like, hey, you know something? There's a scene that I saw on the news, right? Where Hernandez, the camera, the video is pointed towards the cell he's in. Non-coincidental by my interpretations, just so you know, because they're watching the motherfucker. All right. And they put in a fake, because the whole prison is controlled, dude. It's a controlled environment, no matter what they fucking say. All right. At the end of the day, someone's controlling everything, even when it seems like it's all loosey-goosey, and it isn't in that environment. Does that make sense? All right. So the inmate comes in, goes into his cell with him. They turn the lights out, and they're talking about God and death. And while they're talking about it, he's smoking synthetic marijuana, synthetic marijuana, which makes you paranoid, because real marijuana doesn't get you. People get paranoid off of actual marijuana. Synthetic marijuana is worse, like by a huge margin. I already know. I've done synthetic marijuana not knowing it was, and going to the fucking hospital, right, Denko? But that shit happens. People don't always tell you what they're fucking selling. They just want to sell it to you. Like that Aaron Hernandez story. So anyways, he's in jail. He's in prison. So he's in, what's this say? Oh, I got my laptop out. My laptop. And on my laptop, I see Souza Baranowski Correctional Center. It's a maximum security prison in Lancaster, Massachusetts. It is operated by the Massachusetts Department of Corrections. It is close to a medium security prison, but it's a maximum security. Hey, that sounds like what I was kind of in Ohio. I was in a lower one, but that bigger one was up right next to it. And whenever I did whole time, you go up to the bigger one, you know? So here we go. So so by the way, wait, let me read this first. Incidences, and this is on Wikipedia. A riot involving 46 inmates on January 9th, 2017 was triggered after they were denied, they being the inmates, which are people, by the way, and you know, was triggered after they were denied showers after returning to their cells from exercise. Think about this. These guys are already living a fucked up life. They went to work out, to release from the, you know what I'm saying, to get their health back. Then they fuck with their health and their minds by telling them, you're all sweaty, you just got done working out, no shower. Can you imagine that shit? In a little cell. That's awful. You know, who runs a fucking place like that? But anyways, I mean, so there's that. And then on January 10th, 2020, an officer was surrounded in the N1 unit, north side, and severely injured. 3 other officers were taken to the hospital. 6 inmates were immediately moved to other facilities. The criminal charges were filed against 16 inmates. 6 plus 1 is 7, 6, 7, 7, 9. In complaints and a lawsuit which triggered on complaints included unprovoked beatings, the use of stun guns. I've seen this shit before in prisons. Okay. Positional torture, ripping out the hair, underfeeding, confiscation of all clothing. Hernandez was found naked when they say he hung himself.
Oh my God.
I know. These guys don't fucking learn. Ripping out the hair, underfeeding. I already know about that. Confiscating of all clothing. Check this out, and this is real. Deprivation, personal of other facilities who hide their. Wait a minute. I got this wrong. Deprivation of personal property. I know that. Denial of access to lawyers and legal paperwork. Why would you not get someone a lawyer when they've been asking for a lawyer? Isn't that illegal?
Yes.
All this shit's illegal. Denial of access to lawyers and legal paperwork. Failure to follow procedure by videotape. Check this out. Let's think about Hernandez on this one. Failure to follow procedure by videotaping raids and documenting injuries. And use of personnel from other facilities who hide their identities. Wait a minute. Use of personnel from other facilities who hide their identities. So wait a minute. They're sneaking in other guys in there. I already knew that. You know, I already figured that shit out. But here it is saying it. Abuse allegations continued into October. Fuck, I was born in October. Happy Halloween, assholes. Isn't that shit? Ain't that crazy? On February 11th, 2020, an officer was doused with liquid and grabbed through a food slot. So the CO must have pissed him off, and then he grabbed him in the food slot, and then the attacking inmate set items in his room on fire. During the COVID-19 pandemic in Massachusetts, inmates were only allowed out of their cells in small groups to shower and make phone calls. Under these conditions, 2 inmates were stabbed in a fight on April 6, 2020. Wow. So I'm just saying, like, when I read shit like that about a fucking prison, where's the mental health?
Yeah.
For anybody. The inmates we can't forget about, because you're supposed to house them and take care of them and see what's going on and do your job as a professional that you signed up for. But no. Everyone wants, you know what these guys are? They're like, yeah, I watched a TV show called The Sopranos, and I watched a TV show called whatever, cops or whatever, and I just got I just feel so fucking tough, and I need extra money, and blah, 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 and I can't see as clear as I should, whatever the fucking reasons are. These fucking made up personalities in their fucking brains.
Yes.
And then running out like that. So.
I hate TV.
Yeah. And then this guy, then I was reading about these different people who were there and were murdered. So here's one. Look, I'm not going to set my opinion on it because there's some things I like to smile at that are pretty fucking evil. Like, for example, John Geoghan was an American serial child rapist and Roman Catholic priest assigned to parishes in the archdiocese of Boston and Massachusetts. He was resigned to several parish posts involving interaction with children, even after receiving treatment for pedophilia.
Awful.
But he got killed by another guy named Joseph Druce. I read about this before, and to be honest with you, I wanted to write this guy a letter to say thank you, because he was an inmate that killed an inmate, which happens. Because the other guy was like, and the guy that killed him, this guy Joseph Druce, he killed someone else out in the real world because he thought the guy was making a pass on him, so he killed him after being hitchhiked. So it probably means that Joseph Druce himself was sexually abused. Then he sees a guy like that, has balls like me or Hernandez, and just, offs the fucking pedophile. I hate pedophiles. So good. Let's not talk about that one. Let's get back to Aaron Hernandez. So death definitely happens in that prison. They're like, and then some people have never been to prison. They just say stupid shit like, "What is prison like?" And then like when you hear them say when you hear them say those sales pitches, and then you realize they have no experience or no knowledge what the fuck they're talking about with prisons. It's like, then don't say anything if you don't know anything about prisons. Just don't say anything. It's like, holy shit. So anyways, yeah, so Aaron Hernandez hanged himself naked, right? On that date, which is a murder date. It's a scheduled murder. Russian. I guess the player and the ring go together, right? Ring and player. R-A-P. If the P is a D, R-A-D-D-A-R. Radar. So do people use radars on people's brains to make them act out, things like that? The answer is yes. Now, some people in different levels of society will say, yeah, other ones will say it's confidential, other people will say they know but don't want to say it, and there's other people that say no at all, and they just play a stupid game. So, a lot of different ways of unraveling the onion of reality, the layers of reality, right? So, here we go, Aaron Hernandez. So, Aaron Hernandez is found naked on that date, 4/19/2017, right? Now, how did they find him? I'm not going to read it out. I already know the details.
Naked.
He was butt naked. Had no clothes on. He was like, hey, I'm just going to hang myself naked. Yeah, that's a great idea. See, because they've already played out him being crazy. So make him extra crazy. So strip him more, get him crazier. That way, when people hear the story, it's so fucked up. It's got to be a crazy guy, only by himself, a lone wolf. Blame it on the dog. So they found him naked. He's hung by a bed sheet. He has circles with his middle finger with blood on it. Somehow he cut his middle finger in there, right? Somehow he cut his middle finger. Middle finger, Freemason, MF, FM, Freemason, middle finger, full moon, Freemason. So somehow he cut his middle finger and drew circles around the bottoms of his feet. Circles on feet. And they're like, well, we think it's because of Jesus. All right. Who came up with that conclusion, first of all? I want to know that fucking person so we can figure that shit out. And then on top of it, they'd be like, who was the first person in there? In fact, who were the people that got snuck in there? Who were the people that worked the night before that left First off, okay, let's get into the details. So he's hung naked, bed sheet, blood circles on his feet, middle finger's got blood on it. And then with the blood, oh yeah, and then with a red pen, he puts 316 on his forehead.
What?
Yeah, somebody else did that. And you know what that represents to me that's pretty shitty? Florida, Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow 316. It's pretty fucked up. People hate this fucking country that fucking much. And also with Aaron Hernandez being brainwashed and then fucking murdered after the fact. So it's all one setup anyways. It doesn't even make him a murderer. Doesn't even make him a murderer. And I'll give you an example. Okay, real quick. Let's get back to the crime scene. So here's what happens. They say that the night shift going on that they're doing everything right, which they weren't. All right. They were the last ones to be around when he was alive. And then when the new shift came on, it was a lazy guy who still kept his job, by the way, still there. So he's the fall guy. I guess he's the Jack Ruby. But then I'm sure a Jolly West will figure all that shit out anyways. There are a bunch of Jolly Wests. Have a holly jolly Christmas. Da, 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 da. Christ, Sam, Christmas? I don't know. So look. So basically, Hernandez, let's see. Oh yeah, that's right. With the middle finger, he draws a pyramid on the wall, the all-seeing eye of God, just like what I have in my room. So he puts that on there and writes all-seeing eye of God, or allegedly it was him, and 3 suicide notes. Suicide note, natural selection. All right, and then there's 3 of them. One to his girl, and I watched what she was saying, and I read the thing, and she said. And here's the thing I'm going to say. She knows him. Shay, he put Shay, like hey, shh, hey, Shay, shh, hey, shh. Can't really talk about what's going on, but here's the fucking letter. Oh, another one to somebody else. What was the other note to? His lawyer? No, his daughter. Oh shit, let's look at the suicide notes again. But one of them was also to a supposed gay lover, who also says there was an extra body. And when I hear about this gay lover in prison, it doesn't matter. Look, they're listening to the phone calls, and he's even saying on the phone call, he's like, there's a guy, I'm listening to the phone call, and Hernandez is on the phone call talking to his friend, Mikey Pounce. And he's like, there's a guy walking around back and forth in front of me, basically, with Kool-Aid on his lips. And I just want to kick that fucker's ass.
What does that mean, Kool-Aid?
A gay guy. Gay. Meaning that they were fucking with him the whole time he was in there. So the whole time he's in that prison, he's not just doing his time. They're institutioning reverse psychology and psychology on Aaron Hernandez the whole time he's in there. The whole time. Oh yeah, by the way, when the guy, remember I skipped around. The guy, so Aaron Hernandez goes in the cell, the other guy goes in the cell. They're smoking the synthetic marijuana. Then with the camera down on them, and suddenly, by coincidence, wink, 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 the lights, all the lights go dim as they're having the conversation. All right. I mean, what a setup. To tell me that all that was just, it just happened to be, look at the normal human being that lives the everyday fucking, hee hee ha ha life. They'll buy that shit. But we're not talking about, there's real motherfuckers that know the difference. When I say motherfuckers in a good way, I mean in a good way, not like everyone. It's like, this is how I feel. Amazing. Oh, come on. I did just put it in there, right? All right. Amazing. It is the passwords. I don't know. I just used it.
Check the cap.
But you know what? It's amazing where I got this laptop from. It's just not gonna lie. Okay, so whatever. So, laptop's choosing not to take my password, even though I know what it is. All right. And then, like, that way we
Then
both,
what?
like, this way it's not, it's like, oh, he's the only one looking at it. That's how it is. Look at AMAZING with a capital MAISY. That's what I was doing. Huh? What country is this laptop made in?
I think you're in.
Oh man, it's just taking forever to boot now, right? Look at that. It wasn't taking that long with all these other times. Oh. So anyways, it's loading, whatever. So there's 3 suicide notes. 3 suicide notes. When I'm in the moment, when I'm reading it and studying it, this I got to write down my notes. But at the end of the day, 3 suicide notes. One's to a gay lover, and the gay lover comes out. He's all excited because he's a movie star now. Look at me, you know. He even said an extra body and all this shit. It's like,
Pinocchio.
and then he said he was gonna hang himself. So it's like, wait a minute, you just they use this gay kid to tie in everything. Think about it. With this gay kid, this blonde kid with the fucking carrot top fucking thing on his head, he's like, we were gay. He admitted to more bodies, admitted to it, and all that shit. And I'm like, just because you're saying all of that, that's not enough for me to fucking believe you, dude. You're a fucking inmate. You know what I'm saying? Like, what else do you got? They murdered him and then you're there? I'm not convinced. You know, so jailhouse snitches, huh?
Awful.
I'll tell you what, I'll give you an example. When I was in federal prison, I'm in the white TV room watching TV. Because when you're in federal prison, it just happens. There were state prisons, like prisons turn where you got white guys, blacks with blacks, and all that. I love all races, but this
What is
it's
the white
just
TV room? Does that mean the white?
like, people, us
people.
white guys go in the white TV room. Yeah. And the black guys have their own channels. Everyone, this is, the world itself is set up that way anyways. For some reason, when you put it all institutionalized, it just works out that way. When primal instincts, all kinds of craziness comes out. But anyways, I'm in the white TV room, and to the left of me, there was always the correctional officer's office. And there's a window so we could see back and forth. So so I can always see what's going on to the left of me as I'm watching TV. I'm watching TV in the middle of the night. And you wouldn't believe how many motherfuckers will wake up in the middle of the night, think nobody's fucking looking, go over to the fucking CO's door and slip a fucking tattletale notes underneath there. Yeah. All the time. All the time. In fact, most inmates, like 97% of them, are all rats. And the ones that are like, I'm not a rat, not a rat. Like, listen, dude, I don't want to hear it. You know? And there are ones that aren't rats that qualify, don't get me wrong. But like, the bigger majority, I've seen it many times. I'm in there, and there's so many of them going. And by the time I leave the TV room, if I take a peek into that fucking door, big pile of notes.
Wow.
Yeah. All telling on each other. And once they're all done telling on each other, guess what they do? They all hang out and pretend to be friends again.
Yeah, that's awful.
And they keep living like that, like a bunch of rats and ants.
That shit.
Yeah. I was like, holy shit. My God, man, have we gone mad?
Mm-hmm.
Dimmed.
Oh.
So
420.
420. Oh my God, I haven't even smoked this yet. And you know who else loved a lot of 420 just like me? Aaron Hernandez. They said he loved marijuana. Loved marijuana. But then he got mixed up with bad friends, with mixed up messages getting into his head to confuse him and manipulate him and turn him gullible, because he was. And they say, and I'm the same way. I'm a gullible motherfucker. I like everybody. And then I could be manipulated and brainwashed and shit. Like everyone's more brainwashable than others. And everyone has their limits. And there's people that have been brainwashed and they look at you like, I don't know what you're talking about. What is brainwash? Brainwashed people will do that to you. Which shows brainwash is real. Anyways, happy 420.
Look at your kitty.
My cat Orion. So,
Wow.
so like I was saying about Hernandez. Let's talk about the Odin Lloyd murder. Not only was Aaron Hernandez murdered at 27 years old, just like Jim Morrison, just like Janis Joplin, just like Jimi Hendrix and Kurt Cobain, and thing is that he was murdered in a cell. So what got to that? Besides the fact that he was, look at, him being sexually abused and his father being murdered and calling it a hernia surgery. That would certainly fuck with his head, right? I mean, come on now. Let's not play games here. That guy was fucked with, right? Groomed and fucked with, and he should have had a better owner than that. I'm not saying, I want to say owners. The owners will look down on what happened here, and they're like, I can't believe what the fuck happened to that dude. Oh, wait a minute. Let me go see O.J. Simpson's latest texts. He's free. You know who else is free? Yeah. He's having a good old fucking time. He murdered a girl named Nicole. Which is sad. Because my sister's named Nicole. If they didn't want to murder my sister, I'd be really pissed off about that shit. But here's the problem. O.J. Simpson. They didn't know it at the time, or maybe they did, or maybe certain few people did at the time, but now we're in a different world. Same world, but everything updates. O.J. Simpson, look at when you have other countries brainwashing American citizens and American everybody, actors, athletes, children into shooting up the schools even, when you know that's part of what's going on, and they do that to a guy like O.J. Simpson, and now he's free. He did go back in for stealing his own shit. Got confused into it, obviously. So, stop confusing the dude, huh? Shit. Why don't you go after the people that made him do that shit? Yes. How about that? That way we get real cleanup work going on. You want to hypnotize him into murder? You guys did that shit? You should be dead. Mm-hmm. And leave that motherfucker alone. Mm-hmm. In fact, Odin Lloyd was 27 years old. Think about that. Let's just fucking take the word coincidence, write it on a piece of paper, ball it up, and make a free throw. Free throw. Trigger finger, forgetful thoughts, FT. If you have an FT, forgetful thoughts, with the two O's in the middle like eyeballs, foot. Why is football called football? Forgetful thoughts, trigger fingers, who knows? But I'll tell you this, he had forgetful thoughts and they gave him a trigger finger. So, I'll tell you, you got some funny doctors out there. But anyways, Odin Lloyd, I mean, think about the insanity, the mental health involved in this. Aaron Hernandez, out of the blue, somehow it gets in his head. Oh, let's blame it on the dog now. Gets in his head to, hey, now I want to murder. Just like that, for no reason at all. There's nothing attached to nothing. Of course not. All right? He's already amped up. He's got the PCP. He's got the new fake friend giving it to him all the time, making sure he's got it in his fucking system and shit. Right? He's got, so it'd say Odin Lloyd, then the two guys that he went with, Wallace and the other guy with the initials OC. Kind of like correctional officer, if you ask me. But OC, Cruz, and then I don't know what his name was. OC was the guy that he looks really paranoid. And then there's the dark, bald, black dude, Ernest Wallace. So these two guys get in the vehicle in the BMW. They get in the BMW. They all get in a BMW with Aaron Hernandez. And Aaron Hernandez, according to everything I've watched, barely fucking drives. Everyone's always driving him around. Okay? So they get in the vehicle or whatever. Anyways, mark this. They all meet up at the fucking gravel pit. They all meet at the gravel pit. And mind you, after Odin was assassinated, military style, right? After Odin died, when all the Mike officers got over there to try and figure out what was going on, because they're trying to do a good job, I'm assuming. They're those good cops, not the fucked up ones. I believe it. They're trying to do a good job. And then when they're trying to figure out what happened to Odin, a pissed off thunder god just let all that shit come down. It said all the thunder and the rain came over, so they couldn't get all the evidence they needed. Never found the gun. A 45, like 1945. World War II, A.H. Adolf Hitler. You know? Eugenics programs. People finding out, oh, he's a made man. That's a made man? Well, who fucked with the made man? It wasn't made men. So they knew, people had inside information about this guy. This guy's third eye never even got open, by the way. He never got a chance to even fully wake up. This shit I'm talking about.
Yes.
This shit I'm talking about. Aaron Hernandez knew none of it. Zero. Zero. He knew nothing. Just a puppet on a fucking string. Like string theory. So there's this movie that I watched. Holds to my heart. I watched it when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I watched this movie several times. It's called Murder in the First, starring a great actor. I love him, by the way. Christian Slater. Santo Cristo. So he plays a lawyer. Okay? And in the movie, it's based on Alcatraz, on The Rock. Do you smell what The Rock is cooking? And I love that The Rock here in Plymouth is address 79, baby. Shit, I was born in 1979, baby. So I relate to all this shit. You know what? What was I just saying? Oh yeah, The Rock. The prison. Alcatraz. Kind of like Sousa. So what happened was that the conditions at The Rock were so bad that they obviously had to close it. But why did they close it? It's a good question. If you watch the movie thoroughly and give it an actual fucking chance, you'll learn why. In fact, if you watch it 2 or 3 times, you'll get a better fucking version of it. Murder in the First. So, let me talk about the Matrix. Is there a spoon? Is there a spoon? I want you to think about that. And when you think about that, here's what you're going to do. You're going to realize that an inmate was trying to protect his fucking sister at the end of the day. And because of that, he went to fucking prison. And when he went to prison, he was around bad motherfuckers that he wasn't like. And they molded him. And he tried to escape the prison. And he and those inmates got caught trying to escape Alcatraz. And they brought him all back inside. And beat the shit out of him and fucked him up and probably who knows what else. All the shit you don't want to think about probably happened. Including the fact they know that the warden himself sliced the back of the guy's ankle so that he couldn't walk correctly. Right? Like a slave. Which also reminds me of that story, Roots, where the slave owner chops off the front of his foot so he can't fucking walk around and they take his daughter from him. You know what I'm saying? So, at the end of the day, the man goes to the hole. They keep him in the hole for years. They keep him in the hole for a long time. He's in the hole. It turns into a black hole. A black hole in the universe that forms when the sun fucking dies. And when the sun dies, everything that was ever around it, anything to do with it whatsoever, all is affected. Action, reaction. So he comes out of the hole fucked up. And he walks by the guy who told on him, who made that shit happen to him. And it made him really mad. So the inmate comes out of the hole. He's all fucked up now. He's had his ankle sliced, all kinds of fucked up shit. They cuffed him up, beat the shit out of him, puffed his face up, gave him a puffy face. Puffy face. Right? Gave him a puffy face, fucked them all up, blood everywhere. Really mean. Made them feel good. Picking on an inmate. Picking on an inmate. Good job. Fucking tough guys. Must be real fucking tough. So you know what? You know what else happened? He gets out, he's in the cafeteria. He wants to eat his meal. He's walking, trying to keep his marbles together in his fucking brain. And you know what? He walks by I just said it. He walked by the guy who told on him. The snitch. But anyway, the rat, and everybody's a rat at the end of the day, but apparently in this situation, that guy right there was no rat at all. He just wanted to take care of his sister. And the system wouldn't let him do it. So, he picks up his spoon, because now he's in the fucking Matrix. Right? Think about it. Is there a spoon? There is in the movie, there is in that time and frame, and right in my hand, there's no spoon at all. So at the same time in this story, I'm telling you, there is and is not a spoon. Now, he takes the spoon. He comes up to the guy who put him in the hole and talked him into fucking escaping. Talked him into escaping. We all fucking come back in. You're eating a good fucking meal. Your health is fucking fine. And I got all that shit happening to me? So he took the spoon and he shoved it in his fucking neck and stabbed him and killed him. Murdered his fucking ass. Drove him into a murderer. The system did that shit, right? Right. The answer is yes. All of that means the system turned him into a murderer that's building a murderer. Building and creating and manufacturing and distributing a murderer. And the man individually was never a murderer to begin with and never would have had they never done that shit to him at all. But that's what happened, and here what you have as a result. Spoon. So he spooned him. Get it? Who likes to be spooned? I'm Big Spoon, you're Little Spoon. Boom! Boom goes the room. Where's my lighter? There it is. So that happens, right? And then they put him back in the hole. Like that's gonna fucking make it better. It's all right. Mental health, you know, if people take that shit seriously, it's worth considering. So anyways, goes the hole, gets more beatings, now he gets a lawyer. The lawyer comes up to him, is Christian Slater. Well, the real gentleman that in real life, I forget his name right now. I can't remember all small little, can't remember the name, but here's the story, and the story is enough to know that all the extra details support the story. So the lawyer figures out everything that happened to him. At the end of the day, skip to the end, the prison gets investigated heavily and thoroughly. The feds and all them, they go in there, they're like, listen, we know what the fuck's really happening. Stop the shit. We already fucking know. It's not like we don't know. We know. All right? So then they go in there, they figure it all out, and they just shut the fucking place down and turned it into a tourist attraction. A haunted house. Haunted, in which it is. Roddy Piper stayed there too. I love Roddy Piper. Just to throw him in there, I love Roddy Piper. Remember him? He passed away. I fucking love him. But anyways, yeah, I loved him when I was a kid. I still do. Remember, he played a good movie called They Live. You should check it out. Frogtown and all kinds of things. But anyways, Alcatraz got shut down, but they still kill the inmate. The inmate walked the path of Christ. Jesus Christ. Did it all. Right down to the fucking cross. And shut the fucking place down with a black hole. Because when you take a sun, and you kill it, there's a lot of physics involved in that. And what else happens? The black hole. And when people want to say that that guy committed suicide, I laugh in your fucking face. I'll just laugh in your fucking face. You feel what I'm saying? I'll just laugh in your fucking face. Every fucking time. Laughing like the Joker. Ha ha! Ha ha! Aha! Ha! Aha! You know, A-H. Aha! Or how about this when people are screaming? A-H with a lot of H's. Ah! 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 I hope you love the paranormal activity. I hope you love the paranormal activity we're experiencing today. 2012 Mayan calendar. MC. The W. M is a W. WC. Witchcraft. M for Michael. See the M for Michael? It's in cursive. You know, if you want to sign your name to something, you have to put your signature on it. The Scorpio sign, right? With the devil's tail to stick the fucking stinger in your fucking face. If you're a bad person, manipulating people and everything I just described. Think about that shit. Where does all this come from? And then check this out. Oh, yeah. So I got the sun, I got Venus, I got the moon. But my scorpion also has wings, like angels and spirits, and things beyond the physical world, to where the soul and the flesh do bind together in roots and whatnot that we cannot see, smell, taste, or touch, but you know it's there because here we are. And other assholes want to say it's just the brain. Well, you need more than the brain to put it all together, asshole. Mother Nature always does a better job, I'm sorry. And then when we do experiment, you know something? Just like Mother Nature, things don't always work out. And that would have worked out. And a lot of things in this country would have worked out had not somebody been manipulating people and getting Robert Kraft, 2 of his players dead, by the way, from his own fucking Gillette Stadium, right? Odin Lloyd and this guy from the same stadium they're playing in. Robert Kraft has to see that shit. He has to feel that. You mean our New England Patriots owner has to feel that? And nobody gives a fuck? And they like Putin at the same time? Holy shit. And you're showing up to Robert Kraft's games, you bunch of assholes? Get your thinking straight. What fucking country do you live in? Who is attacking who? In fact, Putin, you still stole Robert Kraft's ring. He didn't give it to you. You can lie to your people like you lied to people that go into Ukraine and act like, well, you can do all that shit. I get the point. But the real deal is that you stole a fucking ring, a Florida win, you know, Florida Gator, Florida tattoo, the sun, the black hole. It's a lot of messages from Archangel Michael, dude. Because you're Putin, Satan. Input. Just like Johnny Five. Remember that movie? Short Circuit? Santo Cristo? Hi! Are we being serious? Like the Sirius satellite, Secret Service? With the dog star? Well, hell, I'm a K9 myself. And I didn't know that my entire fucking life. Why? Because people hid it from me. And told my dog. It made my Uncle Steve afraid of dogs when he came back from Vietnam. And fucking manipulated him all around. Russian intelligence does that shit to us? Cool. It ain't cool. But that shit ain't free. It's not for free. Message sent, MS, Morningstar, Michael Sylvia. Kiss, kiss. Just because I said kiss, that doesn't make it a good one. Because lizards kiss their meals before they eat them. You know something? Let's talk about the Roman Empire and ancient Egypt. And it's all related, and it still is today. It never fucking changed. We're all still here. And you want to confuse people into this country saying that I'm not a native here, or he's not a native here, and everyone else you're sending in here is supposed to be a bunch of fucking natives, convincing them this is their old country, you're taking it back and brainwash that 500 years ago. What the fuck? Let me tell you something today. I was born in Rhode Island. He was born in Connecticut, just like my sister Nicole. And you know something? You know something? That's New England. New England. N-E. Nuclear explosion. Right here. Boom. This is what it looks like. And the effects still go on. And this is what it feels like. This is what it is. The 21st century, what, 12 years? 12 years? People are mad about 12 years? Well, fuck it. Flip the script. 21. 12 to 21 now. 21. The 21st century. By the way, number 12, Tom Brady, greatest quarterback of all time. Ever. And if he wants to take a break from ESPN, be like, hey man, I need more relaxation on myself, then fucking so be it. Nobody's ever played at his level before. Leave him alone. None of y'all could do that shit. So if he needs some fucking peace, give it to him. Leave him the fuck alone. That man would want that. In fact, you know what else I meant? With the paranormal activity him and I have, listen. I worked at a fucking store where we provided his furniture. All right? And when I was working there with 2 eyes instead of 3 eyes being open, everyone would always say at the time, hey, Mike, you look like Aaron Hernandez. And you know what? They're right. We got the same looking ears and shit, or fucking nose, or face structure and shit. Why does Mother Nature do things like that? Well, she must have her fucking reasons. She's a freak and she loves her kids. What the fuck you think? She's got all kinds of fucking tricks. You're either a trick or a treat. You feel me? I love Halloween. It's my birthday. You know what's funny about that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years later. I'm sorry. 6 days later? 6 days later, on November 666, my man was born. 10 years after me. Because I was born in 1979, and he was born in 1989. You follow? The astrological alignments of everything, whether they wonder if it's is astrology real? Is the paranormal real? Is science real? Are people full of shit? Are other people that sold out so long ago and they've been so fucking blind their whole fucking lives that, you know, they can never ever imagine the fact that this shit is fucking real. And where does science stem from anyways? And people and the ideas and all the inventions that ever came after the fact all stem from what? The roots of it all, with roots, just like the veins in your eyes that look like roots. Mother Earth. M-E. Mother Earth. M equals E. M-E. E-M. M-E. E equals M. M equals E equals MC square. MC. WC. Witchcraft. Witchcraft. I see 2 types of witchcraft on that writing, number 2. So when they broke into those Giza pyramids, right? Whatever was found in there, I guarantee you one thing they did find, a curse. Because curses are real. Ask anybody that's ever investigated that shit. Anyone that says they aren't just falls into more. This is what happens. Tell anyone that works this fucking planet will tell you. This shit that goes on is just like, listen, the world is a weird place. Remember that, Putin? You love that. You called Robert Kraft that. You calling him weird? Motherfucker, you're weird. You killed him. You're brainwashing all of us. You fucked up Ukraine. You shouldn't have done that. Right? Be honest. You're an asshole. You stole a fucking ring like a fucking kid. That's my lollipop. Yeah. Meh. Meh. Mine. So, manipulating the British family, making up lies about them. They're inbred, motherfucker. You're inbred, okay? Look at you. Yeah, you can't grow. Robert Kraft has more hair on his head than you do. Are you mad about that? I think you are, because that's part of your thinking. It's pig-headed thinking. You don't like it. All right? That's what it is. XKGB, man, that shit sounded cool as fuck when I first heard about you. I was like, man, he fights for his country, does this and that and that and that. Of course I admire a lot of shit. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? Who doesn't, dude? But you know what? But then when you start shoving all that shit over here, right? Because don't say you don't, because you do, because they're saying there's no Russian money out here. Yeah, there is. Where does all this education shit come from where they want to put all this fucked up shit in education, fucked up shit in the kids' heads, fucked up shit in the fucking parents' heads, fucked up shit on the fucking TVs, then the music, putting it in our heads, the prisoners and everything else and what happened to him in prisons and whatnot. And all the mental health that comes with it and how you measure that shit. What are you going to do? Call this a rant? Let's just dissect the information. So, you're weird. He's not weird, you are. You're weird. You kill people out here, and you stole a fucking ring, and you still want more. So then that makes you the new Hitler, the new Stalin, all that shit. That's you. Good for you. Go hand someone some fucking flowers and look pretty for the fucking camera so you could fool us into something else again. That's all I ever fucking see. When you came over here to visit President Bush, back then, I'm going off memory, which I know is accurate. I'm like, yo, listen, you came over here and you taught me some things along the way I paid attention to, but now I look at it like, yo, man, you just being an asshole to us even when he was here. Like, you weren't even sincere. Because look at the 9/11 towers now. Right? So there's a lot to that. There's a lot more to that. There always has been. There always will be. And then the sad part is we wonder how they always want to talk about how much money we owe China. How much money, Russia, do you owe China? What kind of effect does that have on you to be acting out the way you do? When allegedly America and Russia were friends, from what I understood growing up, and like not in the sense of like that Cold War was over, but apparently not. That's a sad fucking thing. Sad to fucking see. I don't like to think of it that way, but, a spade is a spade, right? What else do we have? MK Ultra, yeah. How many concentration camps of our people they have over there? Obviously, they never reported. So anyways, yeah, 9/11, 911 plus 7, Tower 7. 1917. 2001, number 12. 12 years. Yeah. In other words, all that manipulation is at an all-time high. It needs to be knocked down a bunch of levels. For example, and this one's to you, Twitter. Twitter employed a bunch of pedophiles, and Elon Musk fucking fired them all. Fuck them. They're manipulating everybody and letting faggot shit happen. When I say faggot shit, final solution, I don't mean gay people, because I don't care if people are gay or not. Right? But the point is, when it turns into little kids, and they're making kids think like that, and then they're trying to get adults to think the same shit with Jeffrey Epstein Isles and all that, Jeffrey Epstein Islands, and what else we got? Covert operations. Remember, in Cuba, our country had diplomats out there, right? And they all got brainwashed. They came back with fucking problems. Nobody touched them. No one was going on. We don't know. Actually, I can't even say that. I don't know. They reported that they were having fucking headaches and shit and couldn't think and whatnot, and they had to fucking get out of there. The end. What's the coincidence? Everyone had a fucking headache at the same time? Everyone had a migraine? How about this? Separate that word, Russia. Migraine. You know, migraine. A migraine is something you get when Joseph Stalin sent in all his fucking troops into Ukraine to rape, plunder, and steal people, and he fucking starved out 20 to 30 million people on purpose, and scientifically recorded it so when they can do it again, they can perfect it into the art of war. Satanic and science mixed all in together, and it's a real reality. And then they put posters up saying it's bad for women to eat their own babies. Why? Because they know how to construct an environment so good and so perfectly, in a way, to starve a woman and her child out and then have the woman eat her own baby with flies around her ass and flies around her mouth. So in other words, the scientist who does all that faggot shit is the Lord of the Flies. Stalin. The pig-headed, web-toed. You know, he had web toes. I don't know. That guy was weird anyways. Weird. Stalin's weird. Stall in. Putin. In. Input. Butting in. I just like to fuck around with words. Programs. See what's going on. So, what else do we got going on? Oh yeah. So when they invaded Ukraine in 1933, when Adolf Hitler was being sworn in, right? 1933, Stalin invades Ukraine, starves out all those people, does all the horrible shit because he had an army with no discipline. Think about that shit. Not good. No discipline. Discipline is good. So, war tactics, huh? Okay. So, when Ukraine people are starving and eating their babies because of Stalin in Ukraine, and people are having migraines and saying, migraine, because you know why? Because Stalin reported, go into Ukraine and steal all of the grain. Why? Here's the reason, amongst others. Because Russia made more tanks than any other. Take all the countries in the world, combine them together, Russia had more tanks than all of them. Tanks. Where are they going to put the tanks? What do you think they're gonna do with all that? Just have it for looks? Like the way they did on the Ukrainian border? Huh? Ukrainian border? Be you, Ukrainian border. But if I was you, I would have just looked at that and be like, well, I guess they're just doing an exercise. Fooled ya. Everybody plays the fool when they listen to Putin. There's no exceptions to the rules. Sometimes, baby. So then now he's in there. Got to get him back out. Because as soon as he tries to take Ukraine or a piece of it, even if he says, hey, I'm going to take a piece of it, we're good. Bullshit. You're going to take more after that. And you're going to soften them down and take in more. That's all you ever do, over and over and over and over and over again, and you never end with it. And on top of that, Michael, they were running people over with tanks as if it was Tiananmen Square in China, when the college students got run over with fucking tanks. Tanks and banks. Tanks and banks. Bank problems. What else we got? What else kind of fun can we discuss? That is interesting. That is interesting to say. Okay, so Putin, yeah. So Putin, I did have a lot of what I knew of him at the time, like Robert Kraft. I thought he was a decent person. I was wrong. So that's what it is. So you gotta love your country. You gotta love your flag. You gotta love your family. You gotta love morals. You gotta love high level energy, not brainwash and low level, because that's all they're fucking pushing out here. There's nothing else. Sounds good, looks good, ain't nothing going on. This bunch of manipulators. So it's what it is. The last time I saw Putin doing that walk that everyone talks about, that walk he does, that thing is so important because everything has to be such a detail, which I appreciate because he's teaching his society how to be strict and we're not. So he looks like he's tired of doing it. The more I see it. Last time I saw it, he didn't look like he was really into it. He was just like, holy shit, here we go again. You know, he looks tired. I'd be tired if I was him. With all that shit going on with him being the new Hitler, I'd be really tired. Tired. But then if he's tired, he needs more medication. If he needs more medication, then they'll spit his mouth out for 4 fucking hours again about a big long speech about why they need to go in Ukraine. Our people are there, their people are there. Here's what he did. He said that, like, there's Russians in Ukraine. We need to liberate Russia. So he invaded it. So basically what he said was, I'm Nazi Hitler Germany. Those Ukrainians are a bunch of Jews, just like the Jew Robert Kraft that I stole the ring from. And let's just go take their shit because we're a bunch of fucking Nazis. And while Russia's being a bunch of Nazis, they're going to do a Nazi move and call everyone else a bunch of Nazis. I mean, that is what it is, folks. Come on. Right? It just is. And it is what it is. I mean, think about it. Think about everything I told you with this guy, with Aaron Hernandez for a minute, and just be like, it wasn't all Aaron Hernandez? No! Not even a little bit. Come on, man. And you know something else? If you ignore what happened to Aaron Hernandez for real, let alone not the bullshit that James Patterson, the fiction writer, wants to pass off to us with his fake book about Aaron, because he doesn't want to talk about this extra shit with MK Ultra and whatnot. Just blame it on the dog. You know? The difference between, and someone's trying to make a comparison, and I was like, there's zero comparison, folks. So let me just tell you something right now, and I don't even know how you get that mixed up. So they're like, well, what about Jeffrey Epstein getting hung in his fucking cell with a suicide note? I said, listen, I don't care about that dude. So who gives a fuck? Okay? If Aaron Hernandez was here, which spiritually he is, and he loves his daughter, by the way, still. Because love's that fucking strong. So, Aaron Hernandez, the alligator man, archangel, he's looking at it like, listen, who gives a fuck about that, dude? Like, we don't care about that, dude. We just want to know about that fucking island and who purchased that shit for real, and get those motherfuckers. That way it don't happen again. And then figure out all the brainwashing techniques so we can reverse engineer that shit and fucking fight for ourselves too. But you know what? Aaron Hernandez is just like me. He's like, you know something? There's no comparison to Aaron Hernandez being hung to that motherfucker being hung. Because a murder's a murder. I don't care about if Jeffrey Epstein being murdered. Look at, who cares? Let that one go. Let's focus on this one. That's how I feel. Because that's our guy. He's from New England. He was born and raised, and people were manipulating him the whole way, and other people didn't see it. And if they did see it and were part of that, shame on them. Shame. And they know their name. So, you know, the freedom of speech in America, we should definitely keep number 1 and 2. First Amendment, for the 21st century, you want 1 and 2. 21st century, you want freedom of speech and the right to bear arms. Just in case the first one doesn't work out, you got number 2. For invasions of all kinds. Not what they just want us to think about and be weak on other forms. No. I want to know the whole game so that my people and me and my family and our military and our police department and all these people and correctional officers and whatnot, when we're doing the walk of Christ and doing our shit right and putting this shit right the way it's supposed to, we ain't got nothing to worry about. But when other people decide to play the satanic part, well, there's a reason why it's called lower, because it ain't that high, and higher always wins. Just is. It's just a physical chemistry. It's just a universal thing. Low gets the bite on the top, fine. We'll stomp on you. Who likes to go fishing? You've got a J for John, which is my middle name, like John F. Kennedy. We could always go into the Kennedy assassination. I love that one, but not that I love, I'm saying like Kennedy, so I love Kennedy, so I love Kennedy. I love all the presidents we've ever had, by the way. So they've all done good. But anyways, yeah, the hooks. Joseph. Aaron Joseph Hernandez Chico. J is a hook for Joseph. John is a hook for John Michael Sylvia. Michael John Sylvia. If you want to throw Epstein in there, Jeffrey, there's a hook there too. Fuck it. I don't know. But everyone already sees that hook because I told them about that, so let's walk away about that one. How much you guys want to look at our hooks? I love Aaron Hernandez. I ain't gay. I ain't like this. It's not like I'm all crazy and I want to fuck him and I'm crazy and everything else now. I just fucking respect him and I love him and I know what the fuck he's been through. I can relate to him. Shit. One day I'm working at a store called Aaron's. And you know what? They have a lucky dog over there. The lucky dog. I did a good job for him. I did the best I could. But I had to leave Colorado. So anyways, long story short, when I'm at Aaron's, I'm in the TV room. Big screen TVs, who's on the fucking TV? And I'm dressed just fucking like him. I'm 220 pounds at the time, the same fucking haircut too. No glasses on. Aaron Hernandez on TV, going to trial. I'm like, damn. And everyone in the room looked at the TV, then everyone in the room then stared at me. And of course, I got the comments, Michael, you look like Aaron Hernandez. Or you resemble Aaron. You remind me of Aaron. You remind me of Aaron Hernandez. And I told him, see, I actually love Aaron Hernandez. To be honest with you, like, I love that dude. I have always be closing. I have always loved Aaron Hernandez. Always be closing. Coffee is for closers. You want to manipulating a man's movie set to kill somebody, that's fucked up. But then manipulating a prison to get this guy fucking killed, that's the same. The name and face is different, but the situation is identical in a lot of ways right there. Right? Oh yeah, that's right. There was a Bible next to it. A Bible and everything. Good. I got 2 Bibles right there. I have 2 Bibles with me. You think that everyone thinks that the Bible is full of shit. Fine. That's you know what? You think you here's what I'm gonna tell you. Bible. That's a code. It's a code. It's Roman. And you know something? There's a higher level and a lower level. There's always numbers attached too, because we got science and witchcraft and all the what's that you don't know about that's attached to it. And I don't want to know it because it's attached to it. Because like Mother Nature just has her ways and she's alive, living. Like a dragon. And also, so anyways, Mother Nature. Let me pack this 420 real quick. Mother Nature. People should be nice. Okay, what we got? Yeah. Yes. I'm not very salty. So I'm not that much ham. But you'll find ham in the Bible quite a bit, right?